Thank you for tuning in for today's episode of Stranger Than Fiction. And today we're going to be talking all about John F. Kennedy, freedom, liberty, and our First Amendment, which is our right to exercise freedom of speech or of the press and much more. But before we get into it, if this happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Be sure to check out my Patreon channel where I post up exclusive content and it's a way to support what I do directly. Check out my LBRY channel where I post up extra videos. And also follow my brand new audio podcast, Rice Radio. You could find that on anchor.fm and every major podcasting platform such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more at Rice Radio. Gonna have links down below for those, and we're just gonna go ahead and get right into today's important message. So there's been a lot of talk about John F. Kennedy, especially this year, especially within the QAnon movement. But John F. Kennedy was a great president, did a lot of great things, and I definitely encourage people to research some of the things that John F. Kennedy was able to do before he was unfortunately assassinated. Now, with that being said, JFK's inaugural speech when he became president in 1961 holds some very, very important words. I'm going to share some of those words directly from JFK's mouth, but I'm also going to read something that I wrote inspired by this particular quote that you see here, the ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So here is the 2020 revised Rice version. Ask not what someone else or what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for yourself and others to bring love, peace, and joy to this world. Ask what you can do to be the change you want to see. Ask what you can do to help unite we the people. When enough of us, we the people, take a stand together, united, nothing or no one can stand against the people. With our higher power and divine protection that we have, all things are possible. But we need to take personal responsibility. We need to be accountable to ourselves, others, and our actions. So with that being said, how are you being the change that you want to see in this world? The reason I'm saying all this is because when I look into things like the QAnon movement and I'm looking all over social media, everybody's looking for somebody to save them, whether it's Donald Trump or whether it's the Democrat Party or whatever the situation might be. But no one is looking at saving themselves. And that's the problem. For any kind of change to take place, it's going to take the consent of the governed, the consent of we the people. So here's our opportunity. Think outside the box. Use critical thinking. Think for yourself. It's very important in today's day and age. You don't need someone else to save you. You can save yourself. There are things that you can do individually. I've said this in other videos. I didn't used to think that I could make a difference in this world, make an impact or anything. I started my YouTube channel, and I've been very blessed to have my channel grow. And I know I'm making an impact. No matter how small or how big that impact is, I'm making an impact. We all have that in us. Every single one of us can make an impact, can make a difference, and bring about an inspired change. But together we can literally change this world. United. Strength in numbers. When enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people, I'm telling you. We don't need to look to others to do for us what we can do for ourselves. If there are others trying to do things to help us, that's great. But we got to help ourselves. And if there are others that are trying to help us, we got to help them. And by helping ourselves is helping them. So take personal responsibility. We all have roles to play in this revolution. And that's exactly what this is. This is a revolution. Times are a-changing. What are those times going to change into? What reality are you going to help bring? If we don't do anything, then it's not going to end up good. Read George Orwell's book, 1984. We're headed in that direction. Watch the movie Idiocracy. We're headed in that direction. The time is now to stand together, to be the change, practice change, and make a difference in this world. Everybody has a role to play, no matter how big or small. Find what your role is and do it. Even if it's something to the effect of sharing people's videos, hitting a thumbs up, commenting on the video, sharing it with your friends and family, being a content creator yourself, writing articles. There are things that everybody can do. If getting in front of a camera is not your thing, there's things that you can do on your local level. Figure out what your role is in this revolution and do that role. It's important right now for all of us to find out what we need to do to wake others up, to build strength in numbers. Because again, when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against those people. The people. We the people. Nothing can stand against we the people when we stand united. As I mentioned, I was talking about JFK's inaugural speech in 1961. I do encourage you to watch this speech in its entirety or even read the speech. I'll have links down below so you can watch it and read the transcript as well. But I want to play a little bit from the speech, a little part that I find to be extremely relevant and important today. And I really think that everybody needs to hear this message once again from the great John F. Kennedy.
The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
Important words indeed. Important words indeed. So again, I encourage you to watch this speech in its entirety. But those words ring true in 2020. Even possibly more than they did in 1961. I want to emphasize one thing in particular. That we dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. The Revolutionary War. With that being said, I want to talk about the First Amendment, which guarantees our right to exercise freedom of speech and of the press and much more. I'm going to include links down below so you can read that for yourself. It's very important that you know your rights, because right now, freedom of speech and freedom of the press is completely under attack. Completely. I recently posted up the Shadowgate documentary on my YouTube channel. Me and Pimpy from Pimpy's Investment Chat did a discussion. The discussion is still there, but YouTube is removing that documentary from YouTube completely. You may be able to find it before they remove it, but what I have done is I've made sure I personally have posted it on my LBRY channel, my 3Speak, and my BitTube channels, which are all decentralized content sharing platforms and offer freedom of speech, and definitely is going to let those videos sit there and not have to worry about being censored. That's an important issue right now, censorship. You know, whether or not you agree with what somebody has to say, people have a right to say it. Freedom of speech. It is a double-edged sword. If there's something that you don't like that someone's saying, you have the choice to tune out. And that's what we need to come under the realization of. We need to stand together and unite, if anything, just for freedom of speech and freedom of the press. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more things that are corrupt that need to be changed. And as I said, we all have a role to play. What is your role? Find it and do it. It's important. When I posted that Shadowgate documentary up, I didn't do it necessarily because I agreed with what was in the documentary. That wasn't the purpose. That's a completely different conversation that I can have with you another time. The reason I did it was in the name of freedom of speech, because I knew it was going to be taken down. People have a right to be able to see this documentary and choose for themselves and make an educated decision after watching it what to think. We don't need to have things like that censored and not being able to be seen by the average person. When you're censoring something, you're bringing light to it. When you took it off my YouTube channel, you kind of made me think there was something legitimate in this documentary. So if you haven't seen the Shadowgate documentary, I'm going to have links down below for my LBRY channel that has it on there. And I definitely encourage you to follow me on LBRY, which is my sister channel, because I really feel like if we don't do anything about this censorship, my channel, along with other people's channels, are going to be gone from YouTube. So we need to start migrating over to other platforms. I'm still going to continue posting videos on YouTube. I'm going to use the system against itself. And I encourage people to check out not only my Patreon channel, my LBRY channel, and my audio podcast. I'm spreading out so I can help avoid being censored. I'm trying to make sure that people hear the messages that I'm trying to share. I think they're very important. And I'm not trying to say that from an egotistical point of view. I really feel like I'm being divinely led, and these messages are very important for everyone to hear. And once you hear them, you have a choice what to do with that information. Or if you see a video and you don't like the title, you have the choice not to watch it. But if we don't do something now for freedom of speech, now, then we're going to lose it. We're going to lose our right to exercise freedom of speech and freedom of the press. We might even lose our right to exercise our religious and spiritual beliefs too. Think about that. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If you don't know about them, if you're not familiar with them, you need to know about them and you need to familiarize yourself with them. Very publicly available. Make sure you know as a person, as a people. You don't want to be a person, and I'll get into that in another video. As a people, you should know. And if you don't know, you need to know. We need to stand together. The time is now. Now. Not tomorrow. The time is now.